feel safe.
Question number 11, Clare Curran.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Does he stand by all his statements?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes.
Supplementary question, Clare Curran.
Does he stand by his statement to this House on the 4th of April 2012 that he is, quote, comfortable with the arrangements that we have with Huawei, end quote, and in light of this, is he aware that Chorus has rejected Huawei's bid to provide fibre equipment and services for the major contract for taxpayer-funded ultrafast broadband in New Zealand?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
In answer to the first part of the question, yes.
Supplementary question, Clare Curran.
Has any government agency that he is responsible for recommended against Chorus accepting the bid from Huawei to provide equipment and services for taxpayer-funded ultrafast broadband?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, it's not my policy to talk publicly about the advice I received from GCSB, and I won't be doing so this afternoon.
Supplementary question, Clare Curran.
Is he aware that 3 of the 4 New Zealand security echelon partners have outright rejected Huawei's involvement in their government broadband rollout, while the 4th, the UK, now bitterly regrets approving a contract with the Chinese company after a forensic audit costing more than £20 million uncovered thousands of bugs in the telco system?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I can't speak for other partners that New Zealand has, but in relation to the last part, I don't believe that would actually be right. But what I can say is the government takes network security seriously. It protects where it believes possible and where appropriate network security, and if the member wants to vote for the legislation which is currently going through the House which will strengthen network security, that would be great. But guess what? The member won't.
Supplementary question, Clare Curran.
Given the UK Government Communications Headquarters has an agreement with Huawei that allows it to vet Huawei devices and source codes for bugs and which covers British Telecom, is there a similar arrangement between GCSB and Huawei in New Zealand?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, as I said earlier, I'm not going to discuss specific providers and what either advice or measures that GCSB gives the government or the government follows, because I don't believe that's in the national interest to do so. What I do believe is in the national interest is to strengthen the legislation in this area. I invite the member's party to do so. I'm sure she won't, but I invite her to do so. I stand by my earlier statements that I am comfortable as Prime Minister with the steps this government's been taking.
Supplementary question, Clare Curran.
Has he at any time discussed with the GCSB Huawei's bid for the UFB contract with Chorus?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, for the third time this afternoon, I don't talk about the discussions I have with GCSB in relation to this matter or other matters unless there's specific reason to do so. That's the long-standing position, by the way, that the former Prime Minister Helen Clark adopted.
Supplementary question, Clare Curran.
Does he now feel embarrassed that having invited Huawei into New Zealand and virtually offering them contracts on a plate in 2011, that he is now being forced to keep them out of the major contract following the persistent concerns of all our major security partners?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, the member is deliberately attempting to mislead the House. I did not invite Huawei into New Zealand.
Point of order, Mr.
Point of order, Honourable Trevor.
Mr. Speaker, I think you know that the Prime Minister cannot say that.
It would be helpful if the Prime Minister didn't suggest that the member was deliberately misleading the House. It is certainly in order for the member to dispute the supposition raised, but it would be helpful if the Prime Minister in future would not accuse another honourable member of deliberately misleading the House. He has answered. Order. Grant Robertson, point of order.
Mr Speaker, you just asked the Prime Minister to not do that in the future, and
I would question whether or not he should have been made to withdraw and apologise. But immediately following you making that ruling, the Prime Minister repeated it and said she is.
Well, if the Prime Minister did interject that, it would be useful if he now stood and withdrew and apologised to the member. Prime Minister.
I withdraw and apologise.
Question. What, is it a point of order?
Order.
Point of order, Clare Curran.
I seek leave to table a list of contracts related to the ultra-fast broadband rollout that the telecommunications company Huawei has in New Zealand.
Leave is sought to table that information. Is there any objection? There appears to be none. Question number 12, Gareth Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Energy and asks,